Hello everyone, you're watching Newcastle United Life and Times YouTube channel. My name's Rob Britt.
And I'm Paul Anderson.
And today we have Alan on the show and Len on the show. So in tonight's show, we're going to preview Newcastle v Liverpool on Sunday, which is, for me, a fascinating encounter. Paul, do you want to start it off on the preview show?
It's another tough start for Robin at Villa, Man City, Liverpool. I think we just need to have a go at them from the off because I don't think they're that good at the back, are they really? I think attack's the best form of defence against Liverpool. So I cannot see we're keeping a clean sheet. So I'd expect we to just have a go at that defence. Like, we've got to have a go at them. I watched them last week and they weren't that clever at the back. So we're going to have to just go at them.
Score predictions?
Score predictions. 3-1. 3-1 to 2.
I'm thinking there'll be a narrower win than that. I'm thinking more sort of 2-1. And what I would say is sort of draw a line under the Man City game and take that as a bit of a one-off. It was a narrow defeat, and I would stick with the same 11, and I would just say to the lads, just go out and do what you did against Villa, and hopefully we'll get a similar result. Although I don't quite see a 5-1, I do see we could sneak 3 points.
Alan?
Well, we're looking at we're trying to find the first victory since 2020 at St James's Park. And here's a little trivia question: who was the last player to score against Liverpool at St James's Park?
Dwight Gale.
You twat.
I read the same article, so I had the answer.
December 2020, and it was a 2-0 victory. Since then, we've had 13 unsuccessful attempts to beat Liverpool in the league, losing 9, drawing 4. But you know, it's always been a good fixture between these two, and I'm going 3-2 Newcastle.
Nice one.
3-2 Newcastle. Very interesting. Very interesting.
I would love 4-3, but I don't think we'll get that.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, historically, it's a fixture that's certainly thrown up some crazy results over the years, I guess. So I think there'll definitely be goals in this one. Definitely. I think we can probably all agree on that. This is not going to be a 0-0, surely not.
It's going to have to be a start, isn't it? It's going to have to be like the Tottenham game last season. Just go at them from the start. I mean, we did the start last season, to be honest. We had a good start against them. We pummeled them the first 10 minutes, and then they got 2 goals, didn't they? And then obviously the Pope sending off, so we owe them 1 for last season.
Yeah, I think Paul, you're right. I think we've got to sort of get there, from the get-go, get the first goal. I think that's going to be important because I think a bit like the City game, if we concede, it's going to be tricky to get in and get back and score a couple of goals. And I think the Spurs would be an ideal scenario to see them, them goals flying in the first half. But I think we've just got to attack them and don't sit back. I just don't think we're going to afford to sit back because they do have some very good players going forward. I think Salah in particular is always one that worries me. If he's not going to score a goal, you'll dive and win a penalty.
And Burn as well, Lennon. Salah against Burn would worry me.
Well, it worries me, but actually on that basis, I'm not here to ask the questions. But would you make a change at left back?
Not for this game.
Horses for courses, isn't it?
Hall in. No. I think Eddie Howe alluded to it today. He said he's going to have to find his feet in training and see how we're playing. He's only been there less than a week. He's not going to throw him into a big game like that.
I agree. I mean, I'm a big Dan Burn fan, and not many people do get past him, but he's just going to stick a leg out somewhere, isn't he? And Salah's going to win a penalty. Let's hope not.
Well, Gordon's going to be important, isn't he? Gordon's going to have to come back and help him.
Yeah.
Are you happy with the midfield? Because I know in the previous podcast I touched up on Bruno's form. What do you make of his form in recent games?
Well, I think Bruno's tweet that he put out was probably right because I think we did extremely well and got a great result against Villa. We narrow defeat against City. I personally had, prior to this show, thinking to myself, I wouldn't make any changes, but I would. I think that midfield 3 works well, but they've got to sort of they've got to get at them from the beginning, because I think we can't afford to set. But I certainly wouldn't make any changes. But I do think if we don't get a positive result this weekend, that then we'll start making changes for the upcoming games after that. So I think you'll start with the same 11.
Another thing, Len, you've got Willock coming back for the Brighton game, so Willock could be come back in, And
a brilliant player to have. Like, he'd come back. I know it's probably been said before, but he'd be like a new signing, won't he?
Yeah. Strong midfield.
Oh no, we've heard that before.
That was before we made signings, though, wasn't it?
What I hope does happen on Sunday, after all the shenanigans with the Bruno scenario and the tweet and everything, I hope the crowd gets right behind Bruno, vocally shouts his name. It's not nice to see, but unfortunately, you're always going to get that in football. Football's a very fickle mistress. It splits opinions and et cetera, et cetera. And yes, Bruno, I think when he first came, he came into a team that was struggling. So yeah, he's going to stand out because he is a quality player. But I think as the team's getting better and better, maybe he doesn't stand out as much. And I'm not taking anything away from him, because for me, he is a good player. He is a good player. There's no doubt.
If you remember last season, Rob, he actually missed both games against Liverpool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just hope the fans get right behind him, sing his name, because we love him. We love him, and it's not nice to see. It's like, I know people have their opinions, but I think some people can get very aggressive with their opinion.
Do you not think it's a similar situation to the Maxi situation, like over the last couple of years, where he came in and he was the star man, and gradually we started signing better players, and he no longer was the star man? I mean, I noticed in the last game, well, certainly in both games this season, that Tonali's come in, and now maybe he's the star man. And I sometimes saw Bruno and Tonali sort of not going for the same balls, but sort of occupying the same spaces.
Yeah.
And maybe Tonali's just come in and stole Bruno's thunder a little bit. And of course, Bruno, much like Maxi, loves the attention and loves being the star man.
I mean, it's a quality player.
I still put the graft in. There was a stat during the match against Man City, and it was like ground covered by players. There's loads of Man City players, but Bruno was the top one. He covered, so he's putting the graft in. We're not going to dispute the fact that, and Len's right, he might not be standing out as much.
Do you not think, though, it's because his standards have been so high, a little dip in performances, you notice it more?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I mean, he's a tremendous player. There's no question of that. That goes without saying. I just really do hope that the crowd get right behind him on Sunday.
I think he's going to put a performance in on Sunday. I think he'd be possibly man of the match. I think he'd be doubly, won't he? Be just up for it, won't he? I think.
Yeah, and I think going on about the crowd, obviously I'll be in the crowd because luckily I got tickets for the match. So, I think the crowd will be very important because they always say it's like the 12th man, isn't it? And I think when you get war flags and everybody Sunday afternoon 4:30 kickoff, it's just, there's no better than that on a weekend. So. And I think Klopp, I wasn't going to mention Klopp actually, but I just think, because
you mentioned him before me, Len.
I didn't want to waste my breath, but I listened on the previous and watched on the previous shows, and there's something rankling him like about the tune. There's no need for him to mention the tune on every interview that he does about the technical area and the glass ceiling on signing players. It's just ridiculous. So I can't wait for when we beat them on Sunday. It's just going to be fantastic.
Well, I certainly hope we do beat them. It's not going to be easy, but yeah, I think.
And the big point will be the refereeing. It's John Brooks on Sunday. He's from Leicester. He officiated last season 5-1 against Brentford. He also ref the League Cup 1-0 at Bournemouth. But his last game was the 3-0 defeat against Villa.
But
I'll say nothing else. I'll say nothing else.
2 home games
You've done your homework, haven't you, Al?
I always do, mate.
I love it.
Alan, you need to change your name.
I know, but
I'm
sorry.
I stat man.
I keep meaning it. I keep apologising because Rob doesn't do stats.
Alan, did you know who that Brooksy was about 20 minutes ago or not?
He's from Leicester.
That's why he was late coming on tonight.
And I Brooks at work.
That's why he was late.
Brooks at work.
Yeah. So it's I was looking forward to going in shops. Cannot wait.
Oh, I cannot wait to get in there. Like, I'm going with my young'un, so it's gonna be good. Especially with the bank holiday as well on the Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm in a similar situation as you know, Paul. I mean, I went to 22 games last season without a season ticket. I mean, how good is that? And then when I didn't get tickets for the Villa game, absolutely gutted. This one's great because I'm going with, I'm taking my youngest granddaughter for her first ever game, 5-year-old. My other granddaughter who's 7, who went every game last season that I went to. My son-in-law and their cousins. So there's 5 we're going in the level 7. So we'll get the oxygen ready when we get to the top of them steps.
Take your binoculars.
Mm.
Hey, it's not a bad, you know yourself, Paul. It depends on what you're looking for in a football match. I love it up there, mate.
Yeah.
So, Alan, what do you think the score will be?
3-2.
3-2?
Newcastle. Yes.
Right, I'm going to write this down.
Isaac score
I'm writing this
first.
down.
Well, hopefully he's not offside by a shadow this time.
Well, you never
Oh,
know.
I good. Well, remember.
It must be them Anfield floodlights.
Ah, it must have been
2-1, Paul?
3-1.
3-1? Goal scorer?
I've got a feeling. I think Bruno's going to score.
I knew it.
And I've got a feeling. I've just got a feeling that Sven Botman will get his first goal.
Botman.
Newcastle.
Botman. 3-1. Botman to score like at any time, yeah.
Botman, yeah. And I think Isaac will as well. And Bruno.
Right, I'm sticking with me 2-1. Miggy, I've got to say about Miggy is one of my favourite players. I think he's had a poor start this season. I think he's going to score tomorrow. And big Dan Burn from a set piece. 2-1.
1. Yeah. I'll go for 2-1. Isaac. To get any of the goals. Isaac for me.
So is that £100 a man then on that?
No, it's just a friendly.
All right.
I'll tell you who they've got. I'll tell you who they've got to watch for. I watched that Sobersley last week, and I thought he was really good. I think they're going to have to nail him in midfield. He's a really good player. Him.
Do you know who caused the problems after the decision by the FA? Be that freaking McAllister, bet you. I
was thinking that Alan.
He gets the winner. Imagine he gets the winner.
He got his card rescinded, didn't he? And I thought, just watch, he'll score. Typical. Typical. But yeah,
I was surprised at that. Like, were you surprised by their decision to rescind it? I was.
Nothing surprises me much now in football. How many times do we see like blatant fouls not given? How many times? It's just it knocks the game, you know. I mean, you look at if your card's rescinded and it's proven that it was, you know, there was no offence committed, fair enough. But we touched on this I think it was on the last show, Paul. These decisions that we're seeing by the linesmen and VAR, the referees, some of them are borderline ridiculous. How they come to the conclusions.
I mean, that Man United one the other week, the penalty at Man United for Wolves was just a total farce, that.
But they spent about 10 minutes looking at it, about 10 different angles. Look at that one last season. Which one was it, Paul? When it showed him, but not the angle we seen on telly, just showed him the other angle what made it look like it wasn't a goal.
Was that against Palace when Willock scored and then it looked like it was a foul?
He pushed him in the keeper.
They only showed him the one angle, so it looked like it was a foul. Exactly.
I think VAR, you know, it's not it should be a good thing. It's the people running it, and I think
it is.
You know, not to mention women's football, but as we're on a podcast and on YouTube, it's fantastic women's football, isn't it? Anyway, I did watch some of the World Cup final, and there was one decision on there to give the penalty against us. They must have looked at it 15 times before they gave the penalty, and you're thinking, what's that all about? It took 2.5 minutes, and that was just, you know, but we're seeing it every single week in every single match on Match of the Day. You know, these same things happening, and it just doesn't seem to get any better. In fact, it gets worse, I think.
I mean, if a decision's based on clear and obvious, why, like you say,
why take 2.5 minutes, like,
exactly. You know, it's crackers, like.
So just be a quick glance at the screen. I think the other thing as well about VAR, and I don't know where other people sit when they go to St James's Park, but I haven't got a clue what's going on when VAR gets involved. I haven't got a clue what's going on. Doesn't matter where I've sat. I've been in the Leazers, the Gallagher, Level 7, everywhere, and I still don't know what's going on, and I don't think anybody does. And that's got something they've got to like communicate to the 50,000 people in the stadium if they're looking at a decision. Yeah, we need to know exactly what it is.
Len,
anything to do that. Yes.
All the time the VAR referees don't know what's going on.
No. It's a hopeless situation. I'd love them to go back and do a trial without VAR and see what goes on, because anything's got to be better than that.
I've been saying this.
Actually, on VAR, they do. You know, I've said this right from the start. They seem to be looking for reasons to stop people scoring. You know, to stop the entertainment rather than improve and increase the experience that the supporter has. And I think the opposite should be true. It should be a better thing for supporters where fairer decisions are made, and I don't think that's really worked out.
I mean,
if you look at it this way, sorry. One size hat doesn't fit all. It might work in rugby, it might work in cricket, but it's not working in football because it's just the officiating. They haven't got a clue. You know what I mean? So it has spoiled it a bit. Like
when it works, it's great. When it works and it works properly and they get the right decision, it's great. It's just when they come to these stupid decisions where it's clearly not like a penalty or clearly was a penalty. That's what boils my blood. Like
I'm still favouring the top sides as well. You
that's
see
it.
that.
I was about to say.
That's
it would appear that way. It would appear that way.
A decision against them, aren't they?
Yeah. So I mean, sooner or later, there's going to be a cup final, like a relegation playoff or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like a promotion playoff or some huge game where one team will be deprived through a dodgy decision. Where when you look at it afterwards, they got it clearly wrong.
Yeah,
that's my concern, and I just hope that's not us. Right, lads. Is there anything else you want to touch on while we've got the camera rolling?
I watched the third episode of the Amazon today, and I thought it was great viewing me. Like the Man United and Tottenham games and that on it.
Not watching it tonight.
Yeah, I'll be watching that tonight as well. I've even got the wife.
Sorry, lads. Sorry.
Yeah. Thanks for the spoiler. But even my wife's enjoying watching it, so that's good. We can sit down with a couple of beers and watch that later on.
I don't want to give anything away, but you'll know what I'm on about here, Paul. There's a little section on the last episode, without giving anything away. You know what I'm on about, Paul, don't you? Where it's absolutely
the last episode.
It's what you're watching. It's what's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's like
what is that in the last episode? In episode 4?
Yeah.
So
everyone knows about episode 4.
It's
don't tell me.
It's put it this way: it fills you with great optimism going forward, doesn't it, Paul?
Yeah,
that's why
Paul, why haven't you told me this?
He doesn't want to spoil it for you.
I don't want to say too much. I think we all know what it is.
So once the news is out, can we have some feedback?
Well, the news is out. It's the 1st of September reveal, isn't it? That's the one we're on about.
But it's not my birthday till the 9th of September, and they haven't mentioned that.
Well, the mate on the last episode.
The mate, yeah, you're right. I doubt it.
And the mate not.
Correct.
When I was sent a bit footage and I was watching it, and I just thought, dear me, hey, this is these people, I think they're thinking on another level, aren't they, Paul?
Oh God, when you've got like Darren Eales and Silverstone involved, it's just when you think of Lee Charnley going in a room, trying to persuade Lee Charnley and Joe.
Don't
Kinnear,
stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Don't stop it, please! Stop it!
We can't get them over the lane. We couldn't get them over the lane.
No, let's just forget them days and just we've got plenty to look forward to. There's no question of that, Paul, is there?
No, it's just gonna. I think the whole future's just looking bright at the minute, isn't it?
We were back to being a proper football club. I mean, when I think back, I had 30 years as a season ticket holder, and there was plenty of good times. The Keegan times as a player were fantastic. That's what first got me into the football. As a manager, when he came back 10 years later, I couldn't believe it. the Bobby Robson times, you know, even when you look back at a bit of the Pardew times, you know, they weren't as bad as what we thought. We didn't realise what constraints he was under. Now with Eddie Howe, it seems like you've got this person who just sort of embodies, you know, the professionalism of Bobby Robson, but sort of the team management and the arm around the shoulder of Kevin Keegan. He's got a little bit of everything, hasn't he? And, you know, hopefully he's here for many years and we can see all of his attributes and he'll take us to, well, hopefully some success, which so far in my lifetime there has been none.
He'll take one to the promised land. That's where we need to be.
Doubt, yeah. Good way to put it.
I think it's been long overdue that an English manager wins the English Premier League.
Yeah,
overdue. So there's never been one, and I would love him to be the first.
Right, well, when you think what he's done in a year and a half, I mean, what can we do in the next year and a half if that's the benchmark?
And the types of signings we're making, sorry, just to pick up on that, you know, I never wanted Newcastle United to be a team that went out and spent £113 million on a player that's not. I wanted us to sort of be then maybe it's the next level down and picking out these players like Bruno, Joe Linton. You know, look what's happening to him. Tonali, he's superb. You know, we're not spending top money, but we're getting top players, and that's.
Well, you don't want. I think when they're buying these players, they're buying them for their quality, but they're buying them for their personality as well. You don't want a bunch of mercenaries in, do you?
Correct.
Look at Dan Ashworth. You know what I mean? He's just come in.
Outstanding, isn't he?
Who's Chelsea?
Look at the legacies left at Brighton. Look at Brighton.
They're getting loads of money now because of it. You know what I mean? They're doing really well.
Right, lads. I could go on for another half an hour here. Interesting little topics we've been discussing tonight, but I am going to have to go because I've got to go and pick Wallace up from work. And if I'm late, I'll get it in the ear. You know how it works, guys. You know how it is. Yeah. So, right, anyway, right, great having you all on the show. We will be. Do you want to are you up for it? Do you want to squeeze a match reaction in on Sunday, or do you want to wait till Monday?
It'll be Monday. I'll probably be out after the match, Rob. So
Monday. Monday.
I was going to say you'll probably be in a bit of that. So, right, guys, get you all back on Monday, yeah? All good to go?
Smashing.
Bank holiday, we're fine.
Yes, excellent. Right. Yeah. Say about. Wait, we'll chat over the weekend and probably about 3-4 o'clock Monday. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Great having you all on, guys, and enjoy the game on Sunday.
And how are they too?
And I'll see you all on Monday. Brown Haley's on it already. Get in. Right. I'll see you later, guys.
See you later, boys.
Right.
See you later.